is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley, coming at you from the Manchester Invitational. This year's 2021 meet hub is brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital. We got the small school varsity today up on the first one on the docket. Some of the top teams. Souhegan is New Hampshire number 5 coming in. Oyster River is number 6 coming in. Hopkinton number 8. And Co-Brown number 9. So it is basically a wide open field. A lot of these teams from out of state also could figure in to the racing. With COVID last year, trying to figure out who's what and who's where is definitely going to be a trick this year because we have no, statistics to go to. Top individuals we're going to be looking at Merrimack Valley's Sophie Reynolds, Souhegan's Chloe Trudell, who's probably the race favorite. Oyster River's Mackenzie Cook. Portsmouth Christian Academy's Brianna Malone, and Bo's Maya Brochu. Maya Brochu's had actually a really good year this year. She could surprise everybody today. So coming up right on the start. It's a beautiful day. It's probably perfect. Flag's not even moving. I'd say high 60s, low 70. So there could be some records. So the course is a little bit on the wet side from the rain that we got yesterday. But all in all, it's a lot better than what we saw at divisionals last year. Girls course record 17:42 from Erin Sullivan, and meet record. She's out of Mount Mansfield. Yep, they're off. See if we get a good clean start here.
So this is our first time going live in about a year for cross country.
Yeah, it's good to be back, huh?
It is. Won't quite have the same camera shots as we did for divisions, but we will get you as much of the race as we can as we see them coming up this hill.
Looks like Souhegan has got a number of girls up there. That's a big field right there.
Yes, it is, especially when you consider there's 4 of these varsity races. It's a lot of schools come for this.
As we said, this could be anybody's race today. There hasn't been, a lot of data to support who's gonna be where. Based off of not having this in a couple of years. But I'm sure it'll all sort out here.
Yeah, it looks like after that hill, they have thinned out a little bit. Maybe a 2x2. There'll be 2x2, 3x3 or so, or whatever, for first bit around this part.
Yeah, and after this first loop, once they get over to the mile mark, it definitely comes into play where people are going to stack up. The course is in relatively good shape. It's wet towards the finish, but not bad.
Looks like we have a couple of them that have broken out in front of everyone else. Definitely with the sun today, a little bit hard to see who is who. You might have better luck at home. Of course, we're looking at the glare off the monitor, so
yeah, we got a pretty good glare here going here. But that's a lot of runners.
just missed it. There's a couple of girls out in front, and then this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on. So 2 in front right now. I couldn't quite make out who they were. Our next camera angle will give us a little bit better of a shot. We'll get that in about 45 seconds or so. We'll see what we can't figure out then. Of course, last year when we did this, it was a little bit later in the year, a few less leaves, and a lot of less spectators to contend with on some of these shots.
But the lead group does. I did see Chloe Trudell. She's right there in the top 3. But Mackenzie Cook has had a pretty good year also. She was, I believe, second place down at the Bobcat Invitational. She looked really strong, so there definitely could be a surprise today. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Maya Brochu is going to have a pretty good day.
And there's our leader.
From Harwood, Vermont, Brianna Malone's in second. Got the girls from Hopkinton. You got
Sauhegan, Bo, MV, another Sauhegan, Cole Brown. Yeah, pretty good look at him.
Yep.
Can see definitely a lot of racing left. And our issue today is going to be we don't have a whole lot going on in between the 1 and the 2 mile, so it's going to be anyone's guess as to what's happening up there.
And a lot can happen up there.
Oh, yeah.
So Brianna Malone, she is right in the thick of things. The girl with Harwood. Brianna's probably got one of the best kicks in the state of New Hampshire. If she's with you, you she had a very good spring track season. And she was last year's Division III champion. So she's no stranger to winning. Remember last year when she finished up second, but she was really first because of the waves.
Yep. Yeah, and that was to her teammate.
Yep.
Should start getting some action at the mile. Cut over there, see what we get.
6:11, Harwood again. Brianna Malone, Chloe Trudell. And Maya Brochu right there.
I tell you, it's a large field, and they kind of separated pretty quick. So we'll see them kind of fluttering in as we go. A lot of separation in this race.
Sauhegan definitely is looks to be winning this race right now. They got a decent pack.
Can see that Millennium Running arch and the clock beyond it. So we've got our time going there. And Millennium Running does have, I believe they're going to have some live results today. So we might have to check in on that. You can check it out yourselves. If you take a look at our preview on our site, it does link all the stuff you're going to need in order to get to Millennium Running. In fact, I can see on their website in first right now, that is Ava Thurston, at least at the mile, coming through at 6:13. Brianna Malone, Portsmouth Christian, 6:16, along with Chloe Trudell of Sauhegan. So senior, junior, senior, followed by junior Hannah Bennett of Hopkinton at 6:20. And then we get our first freshman, Mackenzie Cook from Oyster River.
Yeah, there's definitely a good group of girls there, ranging different grades. But if we look here,
Something tells me Jimmy's going to be taking a look at the team battle through the first mile.
yeah, it looks like it's a battle between Sauhegan, Hopkinton,
Who's Pent?
I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know, but they're right there.
They certainly are.
They get 5 in the top 29. So I'll look up their seed. Pentucket, Rhode Island. So they came to run today.
Yeah, just a few hours.
So I'll give you the list of the teams that are in here in this girls' small varsity. So we got Bow, we got Campbell, Co-Brown, Conval, Conant, Dublin School, Essex, Guilford, Goffstown, Gould Academy, Hanover, Harwood, Vermont, Hollis Brookline, Hopkinton, John Stark, Kearsarge, Kennett, Kent's Hill School, Kingswood, Lebanon, Messinic, Merrimack Valley, Mid Vermont Christian, Newmarket, Noble, Oyster River, Pelham, Pembroke, Pentucket, Plymouth Regional, Portsmouth Christian, Rutland, Sanborn Regional, Sauhegan, St. Thomas, Thetford Academy, Timberlane, Trinity, Tingsboro, U32, Wyndham, and Woodstock.
I tell you, last year this invite was missed because there's a lot of teams that come from all over New England to run here, and this is when it is New Hampshire's time to host. This is the New England's site, so some of those teams enjoy coming for that. Get used to it. Of course, New England's this year is at Thetford Academy in Vermont.
And that's probably the toughest course there is in New England. And the team that wins that will be the toughest team. I mean, it's just that. I can't explain it to you anymore. You throw a little rain on that course, and it's really a brutal race.
So we were going to try and have a camera up at the 2 mile, but unfortunately things did not work out today. Again, it is our first go of it this year. Happy to bring you all the shots that we can, all the action we can. Once they do get down this hill after the 2 mile, we'll be able to follow them a little bit as they go all around across the field. And then we do have a camera at that finish line, so we will be able to see all of the finishers coming through.
And there's going to be a lot of changes too after that.
Oh yeah,
Pawtucket right now is really doing pretty well.
yeah. No, it's. I mean, once they pass through that 1 mile mark, they're going right up the hill. Large loop, kind of in the woods to get to the 2 mile. So nice shaded area for them. I'm sure they need it after being exposed to the sun out here. It's good to see spectators back too.
Yeah, it is.
I tell you, last year with the wave starts that we had in New Hampshire, and no spectators at states, it was a different feel to it. It was hard to tell. I mean, you had mentioned Malone winning it in the second wave. That's something we don't have to worry about.
Yeah, that was crazy, and that's, it was a tough race.
Part of it was kind of fun though, watching the different waves and seeing, the teams that had that real good depth, all of a sudden their, third wave runner is up with the first wave runner of another school, and just trying to figure out that math made it a little bit more interesting for us.
I'll tell you, let's give a shout out to Liza Corso, what she did over in the Paralympics. Unbelievable how fast that she ran the 1500, improved her time, and she represented the state in the United States in a great way. So big shout out to her. So when I look back at the numbers, it looked like Hopkinton and Pawtucket were in the
Yep.
driver's seat. They both had 5 in the top 30.
Again, this is the girls' small school race. There's a girls' small school, girls' large school.
A lot of times the fastest girls come out of this race.
Oh, yeah. Interesting setup here at Manchester Invite. The morning they actually start with an open race, so anyone can come and do a 5K here. As it looks like I see a leader coming down. So we got number 1, number 2 in sight now. First one tucked right behind that
It's like
cart.
Ava Thurston again, leading the way. Chloe Trudell looks like is in second place. So Chloe's like 5 seconds behind. So she looks like she could still be in striking distance. There's still plenty of running left. Oftentimes the race starts right here.
Yeah. And it looks like that the top 2 have kind of put quite the gap on.
Yeah, at least 20 seconds. Looks like Mackenzie Cook, a freshman out of Oyster River. Svensson of Sauhegan. Maya Brochu from Bow. Hopkinton's still right there, still right in the hunt. Pawtucket looks like they're still doing well. So at the 2 mile marker, Ava Thurston went through at 12:42. Trudell was 12:47. Mackenzie Cook was 13:07, and Svensson was 13:15. If I had to score right there, I would say it looks like four Harwards are in the top 30 at this point. Actually, 5 Harwards in the top. So Harwood looks like Harwood's winning this race now as we went through the 2 mile mark.
Take a quick look out at our leaders. Give a quick glance of where they are coming on that field. A few obstructions though, so we'll switch on back.
So a battle between the big H's, Harwood and Hopkinton. Pawtucket looked like they kind of spread out a little bit. They got 3 now in the top 30. But they're right there too. They've got a good bundle. So a lot can happen between those 3 teams. Sauhegan, trying to look back to see how far back their 5th man is. So a lot of teams in the state this year have noticed they have pretty good 4s, but it's the fifth man that they're worried about, that they need to build. And they still got time, still got 5 weeks left before championship. But it's so important to develop a 5th man. It's actually more important than the 1st man. Got a big cloud over, and it's kind of making it nice and shady. We can actually see the monitors a lot better. With, like that cloud stay right over, it'd be nice.
And it looks like our leader is on that finishing stretch. See her. She's going to poke around any second now from the spectators.
Ava Thurston of Harwood, Vermont. Is going to take this home. She's going to be your 2021 Manchester Invitational champion. About 1902, 1903. So a decent time. Chloe Trudell taking runner-up honors out of Sauhegan. See how our team finishes up today. Top 4 were good enough. Just need to find that 5th. Oh, good battle for 3rd. The freshman Mackenzie Cook. Stephanie Svensson is 5th place. Maya Brochu taking 6th. Brianna Malone 7th. And now they'll start dumping in hard. Cole Brown's first girl. Hopkinton's got a few more coming in. Sauhegan's got another one. So it's going to be a good team battle. This might be one of the better team battles of the day.
Looks like unofficially Ava Thurston's time was 19:03. That's what they got off the chip. They will reread that with the actual camera. Chloe Trudell, 2nd. 19:22. She's from Sauhegan. That'd be New Hampshire's first. New Hampshire's 2nd from Oyster River, Mackenzie Cook, 19:46. But like you said, they're starting to come in a little bit more now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Hopkinton held their own today. They look decent. It's Bella LeMay. Howard had a good showing today. Just broke over the 22 mark. 22:10, 22:11. Kind of like a bell curve. Once you get to a certain point, a lot of runners could be coming up at the same time. There's very few at the beginning, very few at the end, but that middle, the average runner. So it's so important to get your 5th man in. So I'm safe to say that Harwood took this one today. Harwood, Vermont, from what I can tell. And maybe Pentucket was 2nd. So the out-of-staters look like they did pretty good today. But you know what? When you look into this race, too, there's a lot of girls that may have run in the freshman race also.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, that's a coach decision, athlete decision, where it's kind of like, you know what? We're not necessarily looking to win, or we want to see what a freshman can do on the freshman course against other
Exactly.
freshmen. It's always that interesting decision that coaches have to make with it. You know, freshman course is a little bit shorter. Same with some of the JV courses, I believe.
But it's good to get out here again and just start competing.
Yeah, I imagine for a lot of these girls, it's their first big invite of the season, invite in a couple of years if we think about early season racing.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that we didn't do this last year. It feels so foreign. Again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley, coming at you from the Manchester Invitational. This year's Meet Hub, brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital over in Epsom. If you're looking for a good truck, go over and see Tim. I guess they've been hard to find this year, good trucks. So he has a lot of trucks that they may not be new, but they look as good as new. And sometimes that's the best way to buy them. So he's right there by the Epsom traffic circle. So the results we got is so far is Ava Thurston took first of Harwood, 1903. Chloe Drudell, 1922 was second. Mackenzie Cook of Oyster River, third, 1946. Phoebe Rubio of Pentucket, 1948, fourth. Stephanie Svensson of Sauhegan, 1953. Maya Brochu of Bow, 2005. Brianna Malone of Portsmouth Christian, 2010. Haley Kavanaugh of Oyster River, 2018, Kaylee Dagger of Pentucket, 2019, and Hannah Bennett of Hopkinton is 2023. That's your top 10 girls. In these results, my eyes tell me that it looks like Harwood took this race today, Harwood, Vermont. They had a girl in first place, 13th place, 21st, and then 25th and 26th. So they had 5 in the top 26. So that's usually pretty good for a win. Then it would look like either Hopkinton or Pentucket would be next, along with Oyster River. Had a decent day. Okay, next up we got the boys small school championships. Oyster River comes in as the number 5 team in the state. Sanborn, Messinic will also be there to figure out where they will be today. Top individuals will be Sanborn's Jared Khalil, Guilford's Patrick Gandini, and Wyndham's Michael Killian. This should be a great race between those three. And there's probably always an outer stater there that may come up and surprise, just like in the girls' race. Oyster River is led by Dylan Labonte. They've got a pretty good running team, solid team. No one's, it's one of those teams that kind of guys can move from anywhere from 3rd to 7th. Henry Hagen's on the team, Amani Harvey, Chris Jernigan. So they're off. We'll see where this leads us to. Again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runner's Alley, coming to you at the Manchester Invitational, this year's Meet Hub, brought to you by Tim's Trek Capital of Epsom. Michael Killian, the other night, he was featured on WMUR, one of the local athletes. He's had a great season. He's a kid that wasn't that great a runner when he started out and put a lot of hard work in, and now he's one of the best runners in the state. So he's represents Wyndham, which is number 7 in the state. His supporting cast: Logan Carter, Braden Sanchez. Number 8 ranked team is Sanborn, led by Jared Khalil and his brother Tyson Khalil. Sanborn's over in the Kingston area. And we have another number 9 team in the state, Hanover, led by Spencer May, Mac Levy, and Will Parker, and Luke Holmes. And then number 10, preseason rank, was Messinic, led by the Traffy brothers, Connor and Drew Traffy. So this is a wide open ball game right here.
So tell me, what's the strategy at this point? Do you want to get out to the front?
I think you want to get out to the front just so you get some breathing room, but don't blow your race right here.
Right, you got to. So you have to power up that first,
Yep.
100, 200 meters in order to get there.
I always like to get over by that bandstand, and then that's where the race you want to be in position to be moving around. You got Patrick Gandini leading this race, the great Gandini. Him and Jared Khalil are out there. Killian's right there. So it's going to be a good race. But I think Gandini should control this race. But don't count out Killian. The one thing about this course is there's so many different sections to where it gets, you have to be strategic about what you do. You don't want to go out too hard on that opening hill. That right there separates the men from the boys. The best thing about this course is the way it goes, and it goes uphill to start, and that spreads them out right off the bat. Once you get to the mile, things settle out. Get up to the hill, and then you get some work to do. Once you get up the hill, then you get a long downhill. It seems to go forever. But most of the time, right where we're at the press box, is where the race really begins. You have basically, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 yards to go, and a lot of changes can happen right there. So there should be no panic. Even if you're, 15 seconds down, a good runner can make that up no problem in that last 1,000. And a lot of races, a lot of team races, a lot of team battles get decided in that last 1,000. Figure out who the toughest team is. As I said, Oyster River's having a pretty good year this year. They, I think they finished up 11 points behind Concord. It's one of the top teams in the state. So they're clearly a good, strong team, and they got a lot of improvements to make.
Might have lost connection with one of our cameras. We're down an angle. Oh, just got it back.
So this is a big race. This is 4 teams short. This Gandini leading the way again. So Gandini just beat Khalil over at the Bobcat Invitational last week or 2 weeks ago. Gandini went out and got a pretty good lead, but Khalil led it back, and Sam Hiltz of Concord was right there. Sam finished in second, and Khalil finished in third, but Khalil did a lot of the work for Hiltz to get back into that race.
And looks like they should be coming through the mile. Looks a little out of focus. Hopefully our
Yep.
camera person will fix that for us. Uh-oh.
So that's the big 3 right there that we talked about. It's a little bit out of focus for us, so it's even hard for us to tell you what's going on there.
Not in audio communication with him, so hopefully he can figure out that he is out of focus.
Yeah, that's pretty bad right there.
Let's see if this is a little bit better of an angle for us.
Yep.
Not quite. I mean, we can see him at least.
So at the mile, there were 5:23. Patrick Gandini, Jerry Khalil, and Logan Carter. Logan Carter of Wyndham. So I didn't see Michael Killian in there. Max Gregoire, Tyson Khalil, Mac Levy, Tobin Durham, Spencer May, Jaron Nutter, and Jonas Teeter represent the top 10. And they range from 5:23 to 5:33. So I don't know if that's a Logan Carter or if that was a number switch or something. But if anything, we'll know. Patrick Gandini was leading the way in 5:23. So not a real fast opening mile. But Gandini is one of the best cross-country skiers in the state, and he'll make some hay up the top of this hill. But I'm sure Jared Khalil's not going to try to let him get away like he did last time. Team-wise, it looks like Oyster River. It's got actually, it looks like Hanover's doing pretty good too. So Oyster River's got 5 guys in the top 27. Which is a good way to start.
It's always interesting, too, because schools have the choice of going large school, small school, and you kind of put yourself where you think you belong. There are some times where a small school will opt to compete against some of the larger schools, Co-Brown Boys is one of those. We noticed we didn't have them in this race. They opted to do large, whereas the girls program did the small. So we'll see that split every once in a while.
Looks like Hanover would be winning this race if they had a fifth, but I can't find their fifth guy. So
Yeah, a lot of time it does come down to that fifth runner.
yeah. And this will really come down to it. So it'll be a close race no matter what. But it looks like right now at Oyster River, 5 guys in the top 27 is pretty good. And a lot of things can change. Going out at 5:23 miles is not that fast, so there's room for a lot of movement. But I would say this is about as perfect a day as you can get.
Yeah.
For September. No wind at all. Cool on the cooler side of a midday run. You don't get much cooler than this.
No, not at this point in the year.
Yeah.
Again, it's definitely going to be hot for them, but having, that woods loop from mile 1 to mile 2 mostly in the shade, that is a pretty big benefit. From there, it's, they hit the 2 mile, they're running downhill until they get back to the field, and at that point, hopefully there's some adrenaline. We got a crowd today. That helps with things.
Crowd definitely makes a big difference, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Although I'll say in my experience of running 5Ks, I haven't had a whole lot of people cheering for me. Not where I am. Which, you know what, is kind of okay with me, because in the past when I have had people cheering for me in a 5K, it's typically the athletes.
Yep.
And they're always surprised to see that I run so slow. They always think I'm going to be faster than what I am.
Well, you were a 200-meter guy.
Yeah,
so.
not the distance is it's not my specialty. But looks like they're moving some cones aside. We should get some runners coming from that 2 mile mark in just a minute or so. Again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley. Meet Hub today, brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital. We are at the Manchester Invitational. It's nice to be back at a nice invitational. This is the course of the divisions for New Hampshire. For a lot of schools from New Hampshire, they opt to come to this. A lot of their athletes, if it's their first time in the program, getting some experience on this, and as many races as you can over the course of years. You don't necessarily want to run this course 3, 4, 5 times in a year. It can kind of beat you up that way. Although, I tell you, last year I kind of wanted New England's here. Or not New England's, Meet of Champions.
Yeah.
I think that would have been
All right,
fun. As
here
we
we go.
have our leader.
We got 2 leaders there. We got Khalil and Gandini. Gandini leading the way. Khalil sitting right on him. Looks like they're already strategizing for the win. Gandini looking over his shoulder, knowing where it's going to be. So it's going to be a good race.
Knowing both of them and how they run, who do you think has a kick?
I'm going to go with Gandini.
Yeah, he looked pretty strong last year.
I mean, the kid can run probably a 154 half, I would say, somewhere in that range. He's a 920 guy.
2 of them still shoulder to shoulder. Looks like Khalil took the lead.
Well, Jerry Khalil and his brother, Tyson Khalil, was in 3rd place.
They make up a pretty strong force for Sauhegan.
So no Michael Killian today. That's kind of weird because he would have been one of the favorites. Logan Card is holding his own. He's in 5th place. So at the 2 mile, Gandini was 10:57, Khalil was 10:58, Little Khalil was 11:07, Tobin Derman of Thetford was 11:16, Logan Carter of Wyndham was 11:19, Spencer May of Hanover. We had 2 Hanover boys, Spencer May and Mac Levy, 11:28-29, Dylan Labonte of Oyster River, 11:29, Henry Hagan of Oyster River, 11:38, Tyler Beard of Conville, 11:39. So looking at these results, Hanover's got 3 guys in the top 13, 4 in the top 17, but where is their 5th? If they had a 5th, they'd be sitting in championship row. But they don't have a 5th until 52nd place. So that's a lot of numbers.
You can see in the small screen there, it looks like Gandini has taken out Khalil about 4 meters or so. So not a lot, but just that much. You know, you can work on breaking a guy, trying to pull away. Looks like we've got it coming back towards us now, to the left of that scoreboard.
So Oyster River's still got 5 guys in the top 31. They look like they'd be winning this. That's too bad for Hanover because they'd have a hell of a team if they had a 5th right now.
Still early. Hopefully one of their guys will come around, or maybe, you never know, they could have had one guy with an off day.
Yeah, and he could have been away. I know that in the division races, like Bishop Girton used up a couple of their guys in the freshman race. Concord's missing a guy. So
oh yeah, a lot of
you
those
know,
big schools, they like doing that.
it happens. So if you get a win today, you got to be realistic about it. Was the other team full strength, and were you full strength? Tell you what, though, if Khalil can keep this close, he'd be more in the driver's seat. But I don't know. If Gandini's pretty quick. Be nice if Khalil could take this one and even up the year, make it a little interesting for.
Well, it looks
state.
like coming down that straightaway, we get someone stepping into view, but that is
The great-
Gandini in front.
The great Gandini. He's going to take this one.
Khalil looks like he's hurting a little bit. Gave it all he had.
16-15. Not a bad one. Khalil, he does give it all. There's no doubt about that. He's just going to have to change that strategy a little bit.
See, there's still some guys back a ways coming down off the hill. Haven't seen a 3rd place yet. And it looks like we have one coming in now.
Looks like the younger Khalil. 16-52. Tobin Durham of Thetford. Comes the Hanover boys. So there's, since the 2 mile, there's been quite a bit of changing around. Oyster River. Wyndham's Logan Carter. Boy, Hanover, gotta find a 5th. That's 4 guys right there. And now they're piling in big time. A lot of races can be won right here, right in this little straightaway. A lot of point changes. This is a close one today. So Oyster River ended up having 5 in the top 24, so that sealed the deal for them. So Decent grouping by Oyster River. This looks like Hanover's 5th right here. It's not a bad run, but he needs to do some improving. No doubt about that. Unless they got another guy out there somewhere. Didn't run today. Because I think if Hanover had a decent 5th, they'd be right in the thick of things in Division 2.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting. Looking at some results, I think Coe Brown might have the same issue.
Oh, if they don't develop a 5th, they could be vulnerable.
Yeah, I think one thing that could benefit them today is, you know, they've got a strong top 4, so they'll get some low numbers there. But in a smaller meet where you can't hide that 5th.
No. And I know they have a 5th there because I coached the guy that's their 5th, and he's got all the talent in the world. And once he decides he's can be a runner, he's a pretty good runner. But you can't run the race for him. So talent-wise, he's definitely good enough. But it's just weird. So some kids, they just gotta get the time to develop, and once they do it, and they believe they can do it, then they can do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You can have all the talent in the world if you just don't.
And, you know, it's funny, too, if you think about some schools, some programs that do really well, it's almost intimidating to some of the younger guys.
It is.
And they don't realize that, oh, yeah, if I just, you know, change one or two things about my training and, you know, make a couple other alterations, good things can happen. And some schools got to figure it out. And I mean, some schools are big enough where they've got, you know, a whole slew of guys to begin with where they're all jockeying for it.
The one thing about running is, I've always felt, it's easy to get good. It's a little tougher to be great. You know,
Yeah.
you really you got to be tough as nails, or you got to have talent, and just a mindset that you're not going to lose. You're one of those type of guys.
Well, it's funny. I mean, we get to this point in the year, still early on. We can tell who's done summer running and who hasn't.
Exactly. And there's some kids that they don't do any summer running, but they're on a team with the kids that did do the summer running, and they're mentally tough enough to put themselves in position and suffer it out, and by the end of the season, they do well.
Yep.
But I tell you what, it's a lot easier route if you do the summer running. And it's a lot safer route. It's hard to make up for that.
Tell you one thing I'm not used to this year is, divisions. We had like an hour or two in between. We'd have a couple of races and another hour or two. Give me time to go fix stuff if it was wrong.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's exciting to have everything back to back too. Looks like there's a couple of teams might start heading over to that start line for the next race.
I thought there was a break in the action.
Is there? How long we got?
I think there's a little bit of a break.
Well, someone might want to tell those teams that they're a bit early then.
But I could be wrong.
Definitely not the same break as last year. Well, looks like the girls A varsity large school is set to take off at 1 o'clock. So about 7 minutes or so.
Oh, so there is.
We're pretty back to back here.
Oh yeah, right. I was looking at the award ceremony.
Yeah.
12:15. Right. No, we're right on schedule. So it's safe to say I think Oyster River took that one. This large school race is going to be a good one, both girls and boys. Again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley, coming to you at the Manchester Invitational, this year's Meat Hub, brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital.
If you're watching this live, just want to say thank you for checking it out. Plan was to go live. We weren't necessarily advertising a whole lot because you never know this early on how things are going to go. But glad we're able to give you something with it, and glad that you can be watching along with us, and hopefully get some pretty good coverage. It's interesting, you know. UNH was down. Where are they? Franklin Park yesterday.
Yep.
And just trying to watch that race, and Tim Cox was Instagramming live and in and out, and I'm like, man. Wish we could get a little bit more live coverage all around for cross country, but it definitely is a very challenging sport to cover. I mean, a lot of times you're in the middle of the woods, and
Yeah, it's a lot different than being on a track.
yeah, you need a lot of things going on.
You need a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
We're just like everybody else, trying hard to find help.
yeah. People in time.
Yeah, that's what it is. And Greg, I got to be honest with you. You put this all together. You're the brains behind it, and I couldn't even start to think about what connects to what, to how you even get any of this to go.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a setup. I mean, I think I was here 3 hours before the first race, and I still could have used a little bit more time. So
Right.
there's a lot of chords. We'll go with that. A lot of moving parts to make everything work, and you know, it's one of those things too where, yeah, we could throw if we had a bunch of money, we could throw a bunch of money at it and get things going a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. But you know, we're operating based off of some local sponsors who are awesome enough to support the sport and the students, and you know, it's we're trying to do everything we can while understanding that, you know, our mission is to keep things free.
That's right.
We're always going to have any live stream we do is always going to be free. All our content's always going to be free. I mean, we've got, you know, other things going on today too. We've got a photographer who's trying to take pictures of every single kid and every single race, and so we're getting a lot of things covered. And again, we want to promote the sport. We want to promote the student athletes here in New Hampshire and all over New England, those that come to some of these races. So we want to do everything we can to kind of do that. So yeah, I mean, it's we're trying to do the best we can with what we got, and each year, you know, it's trying to make some improvements. And last year was definitely one of those things where COVID, there weren't spectators around, and you know, we were working overtime is an understatement to say that, to bring what we could to everyone at home. You know, even working with NHIA on it, and they're, you know, constantly checking in about our progress and how we're going. And I think last year it was, you know, might have come here 3 different times before states, just getting stuff in order for this specific site, because each course, each site is different, has different challenges, different obstacles. So there is definitely a lot that goes into this. I'm just glad that you keep coming back and making my life easy, and I don't have to talk while I'm doing everything.
Yeah, well, we got B+ Addison Cox coming. B+ Addison Cox coming in here today.
Well, you know what? That means I get to stop talking for a minute. I don't know what she's stopping in for, but I'm giving her a headset anyway.
That's what I came for.
All right, so again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley, coming at you from the Manchester Invitational, this year's Meat Hub, brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital. We get the large girls teams, and we have Addison Cox here. Addison, great race yesterday.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't there, but when you're number 2 man for UNH,
It
as
wasn't
a
a
freshman,
B+.
No, I'd give that an A.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I just like saying B+, just sounds better.
No, it doesn't.
No. So Addison, what do we got here? Some of your old rivals.
Yeah, it looks like Bishop Gertens, Mary Kate Finn. She always looks really strong, as well as the Concord Trio. They also are like a really good team to look out for. So looks like they'll be coming in strong. And then obviously North's Danita Bracchio and Bedford's Fiona Lee. I think that Mary Kate Finn had a really good race. I think, was it last week or 2 weekends ago at Nashua? So
Last weekend.
yeah, so I think she'll be the top New Hampshire finisher.
So some of the teams that are here, number 1, Concord. Number 2, Keene. Keene's a team we don't see all the time. I kind of wish we were seeing Keene boys here today. But I don't know what goes on over there, but they don't seem to show the big meets. Not a cut down. I just kind of like to see it. Exeter, number 10. Bedford, number 7. Dover, number 4. Bishop Girton, number 3. Then on the Vermont side, you got a new king over there, Burlington, number 1. Champlain Valley, who's always one of the toughest teams in New England,
That's
number
true.
4. And Mount Mansfield, number 5.
Yeah, I came here today actually with one of my teammates who went to Champlain Valley. So
And who's that?
Alicia Verano.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like they're getting started.
So you're looking for, you thinking Mary Kate Finn's going to take this?
I think so. She's had a really strong past couple years, and she looked really good last week, I think. So I can't tell who's in the front.
So on
right
this
now.
first loop, what are you looking to do? We were talking about that earlier. Just get out of the traffic, right?
Yeah, usually the times I've raced here, just get up the start. Don't go too crazy because it is uphill, and then settle in around on the pavement and just relax until you get to the downhill back on the grass. And don't go out too crazy because you still have those hills after the mile mark, but get out enough where you can settle in comfortably away from traffic.
Now, were you a spike girl here, or what were you?
Oh, yeah.
Flat? Did you like the
100% spikes.
Did you like the spikes on the pavement?
I love the sound of spikes on
You did?
pavement.
Yeah.
I've thought that everyone would, but I guess it's pretty controversial. I was
Yeah.
talking about this with my team the other day.
I like when you're in the lead and you can hear the other guy behind
Yeah.
you, and you can kind of gauge without looking back.
Yeah.
Just never look back.
I also think that, especially Dairyfield, it gets so muddy. You kind of have to have spikes.
Yeah,
You
you
just got to
do.
suck it up on the pavement. So it looks like Mary Kate Finn is in the front right now.
Yep.
She looks pretty good.
Yeah, there's a whole group of them. Anybody's race.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't even think the race starts until we get down around the gazebo,
No.
and then it really.
Honestly, I don't even think it starts till after at the 2 mile mark
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's right behind us,
Yeah.
right here, where the real race begins.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the jockeying positions, really, that's where it begins.
Yeah.
Right down there, you work your way up to the mile. You can't panic. And even if you're 10 seconds behind the mile, there's still plenty of room.
Yeah,
to do some
honestly,
damage.
my way I always used to run this course is just get to the 2 mile mark. If you get to the 2 mile mark and you're within 10 seconds of where you need to be, then you're gonna be fine.
That's right.
And I would just throw myself down the hills as hard as I could, and hopefully catch whoever I needed to catch.
Of course, last time you ran this course, divisions last year at the 2 mile, you were in second place, if I recall.
I was.
Somehow, I think you ended up winning that, though. It was a good battle on the field over there, though.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth with it.
Yeah.
You and Chloe.
Yeah. She looked really good today.
Yeah,
I
she
saw
did.
her race.
Howard had a decent one, huh?
Yeah.
Good team.
But yeah, I think this part, the most important thing is just stay relaxed. Don't get too stressed out right away.
No, there's a lot of changeability in this course, and that's exactly why you don't get stressed. There's a lot of places where, it affects different runners.
Exactly.
So if you're on a flat golf course that never changes and you're 20 seconds behind, you could end up being 20 seconds behind with there's nothing else for you to do.
Yeah, this course is so crazy. You can
why I
make up a
kinda
lot
like
of
it.
ground.
Yeah,
this
that's
is my
why-
favorite course of all time. I miss this course already. Looked pretty slick around the corner going up to the gazebo, so hopefully no one
So
falls.
Mary Kate's right there. Who else we got there? Can you
I'm
tell?
not sure. Is that a girl from... Is that Burlington, maybe?
Yeah, that's probably a Vermont girl.
Yeah, that might be Burlington's Rebecca Cunningham. And then you can see North right there, Salem, Keene, Concord. Looking pretty good. There's Champlain Valley. Looks like Keene has a decent amount of girls up front,
Yeah,
so that's
I'm
good.
thinking Keene's going to take this today.
You think?
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I think until Concord gets their girls sorted out,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to get a fifth. They're just like everybody else.
Mhm.
They've got to get their fifth. If Concord is a decent fifth, they're the best team in the state.
Yep.
But I'm not convinced they're the best team in the state until they get a fifth.
Yeah.
And you don't want just a 5th either. You want a 6th and 7th.
Yeah, you need the depth. I feel like that's kind of a common issue this year is depth. Not a ton of depth on a lot of teams.
The mark of a good team is if you have 10 runners battling for 7 spots because you don't want anybody getting comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know a ton about Keene, but I know they're always up towards the front every year, so they always seem to be pretty strong.
Yeah. And even on the boys' side, I wouldn't count that team out. I know they've been lower in the rankings, but they're better than what they're ranked at.
Yeah, definitely.
I would never sleep on that team.
Never.
Taking a look at the 1 mile, we got our lead vehicle coming through.
Yep. Let's see.
Clock's at 5:50
50.
right now.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty solid first mile. Wow, looks like she's already opening up a little bit of a gap.
5:54.
Yeah.
Mary Kate Finn.
Looks like she's already got a little bit of a gap. She looks pretty strong. All she has to do on the hills is just maintain position. You know, she doesn't really need to do anything crazy. There's some Concord and Salem and Keene.
Girl from Concord's doing this good this year. Shelly Smith,
Yeah.
freshman. She's the glue of the team right now.
Really?
So we got Mary Kate came through in 5:55. Logan Hughes of BFA, that's out of St. Albans, 6 flat. Rebecca Cunningham of Burlington, 6:01. Brooke Marshall of Dover. Brooke Marshall is a tough one. She's good. 6:06. Charlotte Whitehurst of, I'm not sure what team that is.
Dover has a pretty good team this year.
They do.
That's exciting. I think they're relatively young, too.
Yeah, Brooke Marshall evidently did some work over the summer because she is looking really good. She was a JV girl last year,
Good for her.
and she won the Bobcat Invitational. Just goes to show you, if you put in hard work, eat right, get good sleep, hang around with the right kids,
Yeah.
and guess what? You can be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in addition to that too, I mean, there's always those factors, those unknowns that we don't know about certain athletes. You could have a JV athlete whose nutrition is off, and then all of a sudden they get that sorted out. You know, all of a sudden it just elevates their game that much more, and
Exactly.
you can go from being a so-so runner, making one alteration, making sure you're a little bit healthier, and all of a sudden it can have a huge impact for you and your team.
I know, 'cause some of the guys I still kind of coach on the side. One of the big things I say to them is like, "What time are you going to bed at night?"
Sleep is huge.
Sleep is big.
Sleep is so important.
How important is it in college?
Super important.
It's like the most important thing
It
you can do.
is.
It
I
really
think
is.
so.
Yeah, it always amazes me. You know, someone will go do a hard workout. They'll work out 2 or 3 hours a day with gym work, running this, that, the other thing, and then they never go to bed. It's like, what are you doing up till 1, 2 a.m.? It's like your body has to recover. All
I
that
need
work
my
you did is
sleep.
gone.
Oh, I did too. Same thing. I love sleep.
Yeah, I need my sleep.
Yeah, it's funny. It's for some kids, that's the hardest part, is actually doing the recovery properly.
Mm-hmm.
Always kills me when
If
you
you're
see a
looking at
kid.
that right there, tell me who's winning that as a team battle. Bishop Girton's got 3 way up there. Keene's doing okay, but it's still pretty tight.
Yeah. Oh, it just refreshed. I mean, BG has the low stick with Mary Kate Finn, but then they have a pack with Fiona and Elizabeth.
Then
And
after that, it drops.
They're pretty
hard.
strong. But I don't really see a ton of people after her, so I think
But again, they
I
probably
think
used
Dover might.
they used that Fondakowski in the girls' freshman race, so that's one of their top girls.
Mhm.
So it's hard, you know what I mean? It's hard when you and oftentimes with girls, the freshmen
And Keene has a nice pack too.
they got a great pack. So it looks like Keene looks a lot better than Concord, don't they?
Yeah, I think so right now.
And again, a lot of things can change at 2 miles.
Yeah, definitely. The whole race can change at the 2
And
mile
Concord's
mark.
one of those teams that comes on late.
Yeah, I think it's so important to run the downhill after the 2 mile mark as hard as you possibly can, because for some reason a lot of people don't, and I think it's a great way to catch people.
You made a pass there last year, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say because we had a camera at the 2 mile, so we saw you a little bit back, and then this is the angle I think we saw next, and all of a sudden you were in the lead, and I was like that's not that far of a distance, and there's a lot that can happen in that small little stretch of what 200 meters or so,
Yeah.
and just gotta pound that downhill.
The craziest
Yeah.
one was last year, Cox and Kasich in the States, and we didn't know if Luke had fallen or something happened.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that gap had opened up like, I mean,
That was a good race.
he went on, and nothing bad about Luke. Luke still went on to get second place in one of the great time.
He had a great time, a great
time.
pace.
Yeah.
Like
Aiden
we
was
were.
on record pace.
That
We didn't
downhill.
realize the time at the 2 mile when Aiden went through it. It's just like, oh, Aiden's doing well. Where's Luke?
All right, so here we go. We got the top girl. Hopefully coming into view here.
I don't see her yet.
Lead vehicle.
Remember last year, Mary Kate, she had that lead, and who was it? Girl from Carly Rinko.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Unbelievable
Was that
kick.
at D1s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carly Rinko.
That was a good race. And I can't believe it was in the snow last year. I was thinking about that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the snow, and then the week after that, it was like 80-something degrees for Meet of Champs.
And I think we were calling Carly Rink. We were calling Mary Kate Finn Fiona Doherty, maybe, something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
I
we
think
had
Probably.
it messed up. But again, we're looking at a monitor right now in the sun, and you can't really make out numbers that great.
It is a little hard to tell who it is.
And it's funny too because we'll talk about this behind the scenes where the best view for some of these races is at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it was last year, where you're seeing more shots than you normally would if you were in person. And for us, we've got a good angle, but
I don't know.
we're
I
contending
see a
with
lot
the
of
sun.
I see a lot of shots at the race when you run all over the place.
And this
but-
year's a little bit extra tough because we didn't have last year.
right.
So for some of these teams that are out of state, we don't have a lot of data on them.
Oh yeah, and a lot can change in 1 year. So now we have 2 years that we're working with.
That's right.
So as we got a little bit, once again, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runners Alley. Meet Hub brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital. We're joined with Jim McKenzie and Addison Cox. Addison, who raced yesterday for UNH.
Two freshmen leading the way for UNH.
Me and my roommate, yeah.
Pretty good.
So what's
Yeah.
it like going from your senior year of high school, where you're leading most, if not all, of your races,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden yesterday, I mean, you're up against some of the
It was
best teams in the
crazy.
nation.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been a while since I've run, because obviously, like, the only other time I've run in that big of a pack, I guess, would be at, like, Nike Regionals or something like that. And with, like, my junior season kind of being altered because I wasn't really racing, and then senior year there being no real big meets, I haven't really been in that kind of crowded cross-country race in a really long time. So it took some getting used to, but I had a lot of fun, and it was really cool racing all those big schools, and I
Yeah.
really liked that course. And we'll be back there again in 2 weeks. I'm excited to race it again. 'cause
Could
I
you see
think-
Sydney Mascarelli ahead of you?
I did. I did see her like once or twice. She was like
Yeah.
right next to me at one point. I think. I'm not
So
sure.
that's pretty exciting. You know, you're running with the best of the best from high school and stuff.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a really great learning experience.
That North Carolina team's pretty loaded.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they were dominant.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
But that's what you got to see.
Yeah, it was really cool to just, for me and my roommate both, we were talking about it. It was really cool to just kind of run in such a big group, and we weren't running slow, but
No.
we still came in like 50th and like 60th. So
And Martell, she's only a sophomore, right?
yep, yeah,
So
Lizzie.
you guys got a good.
We are a very, very young team.
Yep, very
Yeah.
young, and you'll put it together.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
there we go. Looks like we got some girls coming off that turn.
They're
Ooh,
ripping
they're
off that
taking a
turn.
really wide turn. I think Mary Kate's in second place. I think third place. Who's that in the front? I can't see.
Yeah, it's probably a foreigner.
Andover?
It is.
That is Andover.
Wow, she looks good. And then a girl from Burlington or Bellows Falls, maybe. And then Mary Kate Fenn. Looks like they used the downhill move.
So that would have been probably Charlotte Whitehurst and Logan Hughes of BFA. So Charlotte Whitehurst. She came through in 12:34 at the 2 mile.
That downhill changes everything a lot of
Does.
the time.
So right now it looks like Keene.
Yeah,
Again.
I think I see some more of them coming down right now.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah. I've seen like 1 or 2 Concord people, but it looks like Keene. I think they have more runners up front.
And it's still real early. I mean, it's
A lot can happen.
Yeah, this is the Manchester Invitational.
So how's your training been going compared to high school?
It's been pretty good. It's definitely, I'm doing a little bit more mileage than I did in high school, obviously, which is nice, but the workouts are relatively similar. So it's been a pretty easy adjustment. Obviously, they're going to get harder, but just so while I can adjust to college, they've just been relatively the same. But I like the higher mileage. I'm really enjoying that, and I really like running with the team all the time. So, yeah.
So that must be Phillips Academy.
Phillips Andover?
Yeah. Yeah, Phillips Academy of Andover.
Yeah.
So they went through in 12:34. So that's not too bad.
No.
A 6:15 pace.
Yeah, especially up those hills. Usually there's a big difference between the first mile split and the second.
Exactly.
Oh, is that the race in the corner? Can you see anything?
Not really. Nope, not yet. Yeah, it's still anybody's race there.
Yeah. So is that the girl from Andover, I think,
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was
Charlotte,
leading.
Charlotte Whitehurst.
leading the way?
She was leading coming off the road and onto the grass.
Yeah, she looks pretty good.
Yeah, they did. Top 3 looked really
Maybe
good.
Mary Kate can catch the girl in second.
Greg, can you switch this one over? Or is that...
I'm gonna lose him in a second.
You are? Okay. It looks like Keene.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, again, a lot of things can change the last 1,000, but
Yeah, especially on the fields. Like,
I think
some people run that section really well, and other people, like, you can die really hard on that section if you ran the first half of the course too hard. So, we'll see.
Well, Concord's starting to stack them in there, too.
Can I see?
Yeah. See if you can find Keene's 5th in there, because that might be another issue for them.
Yeah.
I see 4, but I don't see 5.
All right, the leader's on the straightaway coming in to the finish now. I believe that's the girl from Andover that I saw earlier.
Yeah, that is definitely an Andover jersey.
Charlotte Whitehurst
Yep.
He's
And then
really opened it up.
there's the girl from BFA.
BFA, yeah.
I think that might be Abby Broadley, maybe.
Logan Hughes.
Oh,
I'm going to
no.
call third is Kate Finn, seeing as I mispronounced her name as Fiona Doherty last championships.
Well, you know what's funny? I was going to throw you under the bus, but I said, I'm not going to do that.
I'll let him do it
I'll
himself.
Let him admit it himself. No, I was fooled
So
too.
it looks like a pretty decently close finish from them. And here comes Mary Kate. Great race. She took it out, made it an honest race. I bet she'll have a really good season.
Nothing
and she's
wrong with testing yourself early.
Exactly. And she's the top New Hampshire for the day. So good for her.
You guys said it was 5:55 through the mile?
Yeah, around that.
Yep.
Pretty honest.
I wonder whose time was faster, Mary Kate's or Chloe's
Chloe's,
today.
yeah.
That should be a good
this
battle
finish.
come
Yes.
MOCs.
Nice battle right there.
All right. Looks like I see a Concord girl. Is that a Concord girl coming in? Yeah, I think that's Concord's number 1. And Dover's number 1, too. And then
Says that Pinkowski.
we got a Keen,
That's probably Hannah Shepard there.
but I think.
Or Regan.
And then there's
Hoy.
another Keen too behind that.
Yeah.
So that's two
So
Keen
they
in.
got 2 Keen in. There's another. Is that another Andover too?
That looks like another Keen, right?
And
Yeah,
then
that's the third Keen.
Second Keen.
Yeah, second.
Oh,
Keen.
second Keen. Is that the second Dover?
Yep. We got a Salem girl too. It's hard to tell. A lot of white jerseys with the glare of the screen. It's hard to tell what they say.
Yeah, it seems like small school racers, a lot of red jerseys.
Yeah.
At our
There's
time,
another Keen, so that's Keen's
third.
third, and then
that looks like their
fourth.
fourth.
So we'll
Fourth,
see where their fifth
But
is
that
at.
fifth could be a long ways.
Yeah, but right now I don't
The
know.
elusive fifth.
That's what happened to Hanover boys in that last race.
Yeah. There's another Dover too, so I don't know. And Concord. Couple Pinkerton.
Yeah, Pinkerton will pile them in right now. 'cause
Yep,
their
there's
girls-
another one.
Yeah, there's 3 right there. Bishop Gurdon.
Another Dover, too, huh?
Is that a white jersey? Is that Keene? No, I think that's Salem. That's Salem. But I
Salem.
think this. That might be Keene.
Yeah, that looks like Keen.
Yeah, so there's Keene's fifth. So I
Yeah,
think they have
that-
5 in.
That should do it.
I don't really know what other team.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing I think for me might be a team that we're not used to uniforms for.
Yeah, we might just not have
snuck
noticed,
three
like a
in.
Vermont team or
Yeah.
something. But I don't know, because I was looking, I didn't see a lot
There's
of.
the Gurdons. There.
The Gurdons.
Again, who used what in the freshman race? That changes up.
Yeah,
there.
that's
It
true.
does, too, yeah.
And also, you never know. Like, some people could be out with it a little banged
Yep.
up, you know, just
Yep.
sit in this race because obviously it's early in the season, so you never know. But Keene looked pretty good. It's pretty impressive.
I like what Dover's doing.
Oh, they're
Slowly.
Oh yeah.
moving
no,
up.
they're doing good. They're coached well, so they're going to be a good team. I think Tyler Sheedy's going to show something today.
That would be awesome, would it not?
Yep. I wouldn't count him out.
Well, without the nameless one, due to matriculation from Cole Brown, got to talk about somebody.
Yeah.
The person not to be mentioned.
B plus Cox, you mean?
Hey, enough of that.
When are you going to bring your A game?
I don't know. Saving
So
it.
what do you got? 2
Saving
weeks?
it, yeah. I heard you had a pretty rough performance yesterday. Second UNH girl in. That's pretty bad.
What do you got? 2 weeks, New England's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
back at Franklin Park
You
again.
guys have won that like 5 out of 9 years or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
I'm excited. Yesterday was the first time like the whole team kind of ran together. We've been kind of split between meets.
Yep.
So I'm excited. It should be fun. I'm excited to race Franklin Park again. So reminded me a little bit of Dairyfield. You go up a
Yeah.
hill and then you go right back down.
So when I was in college, we used to run on the golf course part of it. We didn't run on that side of it.
Ooh, I cooled down near there and I looked
Yeah.
at it and I was like, I am glad I didn't have to race on that. It didn't look like that much fun.
No, it was the fastest guys would win.
Yeah.
It was just not enough hills, not enough.
Yeah.
It was just a racetrack basically.
Yeah.
So I do like where you guys race. A
Yeah.
lot better.
No, was that 6K yesterday?
No, it was 5K.
5K still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for my boy Landon, but he didn't race yesterday.
Yeah,
He's-
he didn't race.
He's
I
racing
saw
Paul
Lowell
Shore.
So you know, if
there.
I was him, I'd take his 24:51 and retire right there.
He probably should.
Yeah.
Probably should.
And I can't imagine racing an 8K. That feels like such an odd distance.
There wasn't really much 8K going on back in the day, was there, Jim? It was 5K, 10K. Well,
Yeah.
it's 10K,
No,
more
5
10K,
No,
right?
5 miles
5 miles,
was
yeah.
everything, and then your 10Ks were the championships. The big
No, I didn't even mean for cross country, just in general, like even finding,
Oh no, you didn't
you
have
know,
any 8Ks.
10Ks were,
Yeah.
you couldn't find a 5K hardly that much, but you could find 10Ks everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Now try to find a 10K. And half marathons. I don't even think that existed back then, did it?
Yeah, a few. You'd have to go down to like New Bedford and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you didn't find too many.
Now you.
There was way more 10Ks than 5Ks.
Oh yeah, way more.
You know.
Now you can't turn around and not find a half
No.
marathon or 5K.
I gotta go run around and yell for Aiden.
All right. Well,
so.
thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, thanks for having
to
me.
your brother.
I'm going to
Thank
try
you.
not to yell for Aiden on
I'll make a bet
microphone.
right now. A kid named Aiden's going to win this next race.
Really?
I think that's pretty,
Odds are.
odds are.
All right.
Yeah, actually.
All right, see you guys.
All right, thank
you.
It's always fun to hear perspective of a college freshman.
Yeah, and you know the best part is I like hearing a girl's voice when we're doing a girls' race because they know a lot more about girls. And I got to be honest with you, she's got a good level head on her shoulders. So
Oh yeah, no, Addison's pretty smart. She knows those top runners. Even having graduated, she still knows the New Hampshire and New England scene of the high school.
and she's respectful to her opponents.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She doesn't talk down to them. I mean, I don't care what kid you go out there. Those kids all know to her, so she is a role model to them. And I do like the fact that the way she holds herself.
Yeah, I mean, she said, she watched Chloe Trudell race earlier and was cheering for her. And
Yeah, exactly. It's respect, and that's the one thing about cross country that's really good.
It is pretty endemic.
You can be friends with a kid on the other side, still go out and battle, but
How many times have people that have duked it out down the finishing straight gone out and cooled down together?
exactly.
Lots of times.
So I do have some final results. Charlotte Whitehurst took that 19 minutes. Logan Hughes, 19:03. Mary Kate Finn of Bishop Girton, 19:10. Rebecca Cunningham of Burlington, 19:24. Alice Cradell of Champlain, 19:36 for fifth. So 6th was Jillian Fairfax of Burlington. So 5 out of the top 6 girls were out-of-staters.
And how do those times compare to what was in the small school championship?
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Yeah. No,
So the course isn't very fast today.
no. I think it's a little wet, but not too bad.
a little wet, a little warm, a little early.
Yeah, and I think some places on the grass that aren't even wet are just a little bit soft. So energy returns pretty tough.
Yeah, and it looks like I've noticed when they're by the gazebo each time we get that shot that it looks a little bit more beat
A little
up,
bit more tracked up.
a little bit more wet each time. So
Remember
as
that?
the races
What was
go.
it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the monsoon year, or whatever it was, and that whole strip down there was this
Oh, yeah.
weird, like carpet pulled over water sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're almost better aiming right for the mud because you could expect it to be muddy. The other time you're running on the grass, but you might like fall through.
And then of course last year at divisions where you start the morning with snow and
Yeah.
then
Yep.
afternoon it's gone.
Yep.
So it's just
So
it gets in different conditions.
Burlington won that as the girls' team.
Really? So
Yeah.
they snuck by us. I saw 2,
Yep.
but then we started looking for the New Hampshire teams, and
Yeah.
I kind of
If
lost
you don't know your
count.
uniform is really good,
Yeah,
then that's going to
yeah.
be an issue. But they had 2 in the top 6, and then they spread them out pretty good. So I would say Burlington is the winner of that. All right, so let's talk about this large boys. But before I do that, this is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runner's Alley, coming at you from the Manchester Invitational. This year's meet hub brought to you by Tim's Truck Capital of Epsom. Now, this is probably the race of the day, maybe one of the best races
happening today
Yeah.
across the country.
So you got a number, 6 and a 12 or 5 and 11.
Yeah.
Both kids' names, Aiden Puffer, the defending champion from 2 years ago. Aiden Cox, the state record holder, not the course record holder. Course record holder is a kid named, I believe, Trevor Hopper.
Right.
Ran a 15:09 back in 2013. So that's the time that they'll be looking at. Team-wise, Bishop Hendricken, number 1 from Rhode Island. They're either number 1 or number 2 every year from Rhode Island.
Yep.
New England, number 4. Cole Brown, number 1. I'm not so sure they are number 1. They got the best 4 runners. We'll see if their 5th man shows up. Bishop Girton, to me, might be the best team in the state right now.
They're deep.
They're at number 2. Concord, number 3. Pinkerton,
Flags
4.
up.
And Londonderry, 5.
They're off.
There we go.
Favorites, Aiden Cox, Aiden Puffer, you pick. You got Luke Brennan at Pinkerton, who's tough. Fondakowski's had a great year. Sam Hiltz had a great year. Ryan Forden leading his team of Londonderry. And Bishop Hendricken is led by Andrew Freza. So, hey, this could be anybody's race.
Landon asked me, he says...
After first and second.
Yeah. Landon said, who do you expect to be right up at the front in the mile? I said, what are you asking me? Like, both Aidens for sure. And he goes, Fondakowski.
Yeah.
That was his call.
I hope Fondakowski does go out and test the water.
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey, he's run pretty well this year.
Yep.
Michael, hey, what happened to Mike Killian? Why wasn't he here today? Do you know?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. And I never, you know what? I never saw Wyndham anywhere. I mean, I saw them racing, but I never came across them, you know, and as a coach running around and stuff like that, you usually do. And I didn't see Wyndham anywhere. So hopefully it's nothing that's a major
They're
setback.
2 and 3 held their own today. They did well.
Yep.
It doesn't look like
I
they're
have to
running that
admit-
fast right now, to be honest with you.
No, it doesn't.
My eye test is telling me that's
Yeah.
not fast.
Well, in our last shot, I saw Aiden Cox about 15 back, which is kind of normal for him. He works his way up the first mile.
And now it looks like he's in fifth.
Yeah, the eye
He's not going to waste much time
The eye
getting
test
there.
tells me Fondakowski's not banging.
Whoa, somebody's out.
There's somebody. Is that Fondakowski?
Looks like a white uniform.
White, huh?
That doesn't look like Fondakowski.
That's
Maybe Essex?
Looks like Essex.
yeah. Well, that
Wow.
kid's got some wheels, so I
Yeah.
can tell you right now. Kind of looks like the kid from Bishop Girton a few years ago, Hernandez.
Yeah.
Big, strong kid.
There was a kid in the boys JV race from Merrimack had a very impressive afro that won the hill, but I think he finished in about 130th
Yeah.
place. I think that was his goal for the day. I don't think the leader in this race is doing the same thing.
No. But I like the kid going way out fast because that's
Yep.
going to bring the pack out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And they're going by us now. Leaves on. We don't have quite the same vision we had last winter or last fall.
He's
Yeah.
still out in front, but
I didn't see Puffer. But it's hard. It's hard.
It's
to see him
hard.
on
That
monitor.
they were pretty packed up behind him.
But I'll tell you what, that kid's Puffer is as smooth as anybody I've
Yep.
ever seen as far as running. And I found out last night he's going to northern Arizona.
I saw that too.
So you got Sherry brothers going to Stanford.
Yep. He's still got a substantial lead. Could Puffer have his singlet be white in the back? I know it's normally red, but could it be white in the back? Because there was sitting right on Aiden's shoulder was a guy. Looked like it might have been a red-fronted, white-backed uniform.
I don't know. We'll see. Because sometimes Puffer doesn't run these races.
Right.
You know, you
And
got him
we
signed up and then not run and stuff like that. I've seen that before, but we'll see. Tell you what, that kid's cranking, though, that's in front.
yeah.
I mean, he's got 40 yards.
Yeah. And Aiden's sitting right there in like third or fourth, so he's not just going to give somebody 40 yards.
I don't see Puffer.
well, we'll get a clearer picture of it when we get to that 1 mile. See if we got some splits on them.
So Bishop Girton used up a 5 and maybe a 7 runner in the freshman. Concord's missing their 4. Cole Brown doesn't have a 5th, so it could be anybody's race.
Yeah.
So when
And
I say he doesn't have
of
a
course,
5th,
Hendricken.
doesn't have a 5th, I'm saying not till you show up. Once you show up, I'll start calling you your 5th.
Yeah, we're kind of sitting in the same boat right now, so.
It's tough. Hanover, I'm telling you, could be an unbelievable team. Bishop Girton and Oyster River seem to have plenty of runners.
Right. And they're thick through the middle where you'd like to be.
You know, and that
Dylan Labonte looked good today in today's race,
Yeah, he
too.
did.
So, you know, they seem to have been kind of reaching out for a leader, and it seems like he might be establishing himself that way.
I'll tell you what, this Essex kid's taking.
He is going.
And Essex,
I don't know what the time is,
Essex
but
has got a rich tradition of having good runners.
We're at 4:54,
so that was Aiden in second. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, 450.
so he's under 5.
That's going. That's going for mid-season.
No, I don't see Puffer there. Unless he's grown up differently.
I saw a picture of him just the other day. Looked similar to what I saw.
So again, that leader is out of state. We'll get a name on him
Tyler.
in just a second.
Jamie Lano through, so I didn't see if they had Lars. There's Lars, so Cole Brown's top 4 are through. See if we can pick up a 5th.
So that was Evan Thornton Sherman, 4th. I'm thinking his last name's Sherman. There's not enough space for the last, but I'm going to say Sherman.
Please tell me that
Saint-
has like a 3rd attached
From
to
St.
it.
John's, 458. Aiden Cox, 507. Matthew Servin, 507. Sam Burgess, 507. So a lot of foreigners. When I say foreigners, I mean
Non-New
out-of-staters.
Hampshire.
Yep.
Well, you get Tyler Sheedy in the mix from Dover at 5'11".
Hey, Sheedy's tough. Then you got Zach Hooper, Sam Hiltz. Then you get all the Bishop Hendricken. Bishop Hendricken's winning this right now.
Yeah.
They got 5 in the top 18.
I tell you, those 2 top boys from Concord looked pretty good at Bobcat when we saw them.
Is that
Yeah.
just a stationary camera, or is there somebody on that? Because a whole lot of elbows being tossed there.
It's a spectator. We didn't have to
I
deal
know,
with those
I
last
know.
year. A little bit different.
Maybe we need to get a brute on that camera to tell him to back off.
Well, if we had another race, I guess I'd sign you up. But
Looks like the majority of the field through by 6:30 or so.
Yeah, this is anybody's race today.
Well, I'll be interested in whether Aiden Cox uses the same strategy that he did last year at Divisions.
Yeah, that's what
Where-
we talked about earlier.
I mean, so the leader went through in 4:58, but then it's not uncommon for, to lose half a minute in that second mile. But last year, Aiden just kept the pedal to the metal and basically even split the second mile.
How about Fondakowski, though, taking it smart today? Going through the mile in 5:07.
So he was right with the lead as well, or
Yep.
with the chase back, I should
Yeah.
say.
Tyler
Not the lead.
Sheedy will make some headroom up there, too. He's a good hill runner.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, after the 1 mile, you go right up that hill, and Cox isn't going to slow down for a hill.
No.
He'll keep going, if not quicker.
Yeah.
So, part of me kind of likes the gap that we have, where we don't necessarily see a whole lot right now. 'cause
Well,
it's,
it
it's
does
a fun
make
little
it,
guessing game.
That is a fun little guessing game for sure. And we get to give the home crowd a kind of behind the scenes action of everybody migrating around. It is an interesting thing to watch, the throng, how the throng moves and which directions they go to pick up what parts of the meet.
And you have spectators who walk. You have spectators that are running
Run.
all over. If you run all over, you'll get a number of good views of the race. But if you're walking, it is a nice course. There's
Yeah,
still a lot of
yep.
spots you can see. So,
Well, I trail run bunged up a toe pretty good, so I've been slightly less ambulatory than I normally would. So I watch the gun at the top of the hill and work my way up the road, then slide around to the mile mark and then down to the tennis courts. And I was amazed how much I saw just in that alone. Normally I'm running up to the top of the hill after the 1 mile mark. Give some encouragement when the kids are not really feeling that great. But you see a lot of race even if you stay down in the park itself or the lower part of the park. What a gorgeous day, though, huh?
Jeez, can't get any better.
No, you can't. I'm sure it's a little warm for the runners, but considering some of the weather that we have had, how hot and humid it's been this picture day.
So team-wise, no doubt, Bishop Hendricken.
Yeah.
Second. And I'm having a hard time figuring that one out.
What are you saying about second?
Second place team?
Oh, trying to figure out the
Yeah,
second place.
I'd have to go with Bishop Girton right now. Then Concord, then Cole Brown.
Yeah. Well, like I saw Cole Brown's 5th and 6th running together, which that's great, but the gap was pretty big.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find their 5th and 6th. Those pages don't go back that far. Concord's got their 5th guy in third place.
Huh.
So, which sounds bad, but it's not as bad.
It is.
It's not as bad as you
Yeah.
think.
Do we have numbers on those earlier races? I know in the preview I wrote that the girls' small school race was going to be the biggest race of the day.
It was.
I just wasn't sure because I know there was 42 teams,
Yeah.
but some of those teams were incomplete teams.
Yeah.
And I figured the boys were probably more complete teams, and they had 37 teams. So
Oh.
I wasn't sure.
On the small school?
From the small school,
small
yeah.
school?
Yeah.
I don't know. That girl's side looked pretty big.
Yeah, they did. Absolutely did.
The Great Gandini.
Great Gandini. Oh, I was down with probably 200 to go, and Khalil pulls off the arm sleeves.
Yeah.
And throws him to the side,
Laying
and then
it
just
down.
digs in and pulled right up on Gandini. And I thought, oh my Lord, this is it. But then Gandini hit the turn, and I think Khalil had spent a little to catch up to him, and that was it.
All right, so right now at the 2 mile, we got a new leader, Sam Burgess, Framingham, 10:22. Evan Thornton Sherman, 10:25. Matthew Servin of Champlain, 10:34.
So they ran essentially 5 and 5:30-ish. Huh.
No Eden Cox, so far coming up on the thing. But I know he was struggling with a little leg injury this week. So,
Was he?
yeah. So I'm not even sure no, I don't even see his name, so he must have.
Well, I see our leader now.
Yeah. You said Framingham?
Yep.
I just gave a glance back, though.
It almost looks like Gandini running around the second time.
Probably is. And then looks like our early leader from Essex.
Evan Thornton.
Yeah. And Matthew Servin of Champlain. That's him. Third place. Fourth place, Walker Beverly. A lot of guys.
That looks like that might be Fondakowski.
Fondakowski, yeah.
He's kind of got that arm swing in the head.
Fondakowski, a good-looking runner, I'll tell you that. But I'm going to tell you right now, Hiltz has got his eyes on him this week.
Second Concord.
I'm going to go with
There's
Hiltz.
Sheedy.
Yep.
Sheedy just went through in the back of that. Was that another Girton?
Yeah, O'Keefe
So hard to
probably.
tell. Hard to tell.
Well, Hendrick and Girton, they're pretty close, but
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say the top two we had going into it are not going to win today.
no.
There goes Tyler Gazik.
No, I'm glad I didn't put a lot of money down on that one. But if your name's Aiden, you're not winning today. But it's only the Manchester Invitational.
It is
Yep.
only and you know that his coaches are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you got 5 weeks to go.
Oh, yeah, it's early season for Co Brown. It's their first real race, so
And
if he
it's-
wasn't feeling right, pull him.
And it's not like he needs to preview this course, really.
40 years ago today, I ran in this race.
You did?
And Tim McConnell won this race, and his teammate Rob Hinkle was second. They went and won the whole thing as a team. Championship time, they were the best team in the state.
Yeah.
Championship day, then I don't think they placed top 3.
Oh. Can't that be the way as well?
Yeah, it used to be, and my son Forrest McKenzie just say it was the curse meet.
Yeah.
It was.
I used to think of that about the Cigna race. Some kids would get so geared up to run well at that Cigna race, and that's at the beginning of August. And they run a great Cigna. Usually, you didn't see their name at the top of the leaderboard in cross country. Could be the curse.
Yeah. Well, these guys right here, no joke.
Nope.
So, you can say what you want, but
Yeah. What do we have for running time now?
I don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, because they've got less than 400 meters to go. And he doesn't look like he's slowing down any.
So I guess Aiden Cox was limping away. He had a problem this week, so they pulled him off the course. So better to save him.
Absolutely.
Yep. And that's part of running. You get injuries when you run.
Yep.
No way about that.
And I mean, ultimately, you look at what he's trying to accomplish this season. This is still essentially preseason to him.
Yep.
When
Yeah.
you're talking about competing at the end of November.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Exactly.
about the only thing that you can ensure by running through an injury today is that you're not there in November.
That's right. So team battle, Bishop Hendricken, but the battle is for the second place.
Second place, yeah. It sounds like they've carved out. And here we go.
Wow, this is a good race. See what he pulls off our time.
Yeah, yeah. Essex hung tough.
He'd have to take
Blowing through at sub 5.
What was the time? We hit the
I
time?
can't see it. 15. I thought I saw 1540 something, but I
Yeah,
can't be
something.
sure. Side of someone's head.
So the kid that won.
There's Fondakowski.
The kid that won, Sam Burgess, is that Fondakowski? No,
I
that's
think
not
so.
him. That's Luke Brennan making a good run at it right
Yep.
there.
Looking over and crank. Oh, there's Fondakowski right there. That's
Yep.
definitely him.
So Burgess, the kid that won, it's a 9:11 2-miler.
That's fast. So there's a Hendricken right there. South Burlington. Is that Hogney?
Hard to tell, huh?
Yeah,
It's Murphy.
I think that might have been Hogney. If that's true, he had a great second half. There's Leno.
Yep, Leno had a good day. So 15:39.
15:39.
Yeah, that's a good run.
Yeah, comparative. Well, we got a guy.
Kid named Sam Hills was the first New Hampshire kid.
We just saw a kid go over in the corner.
Did I call that right?
You did.
Yeah, I said that, didn't I?
He said that he had eyes on him.
So I think if Concord can get their 5 guys in here pretty quick.
Definitely be top New Hampshire.
Girton still, I don't know. Let's see.
Another Pinkerton.
There's Concord's 4th. Tyler Watt.
Lowell.
Lowell's got good
4
back
right there
Yeah,
in
4th.
frame.
So you know they have a 5th somewhere up front.
Yeah. There's another one for Lowell.
So Lowell's got 5 in. U32's having a pretty good day today too. So I say U32 probably finished second today out of Vermont.
I don't know if it's the angle of the sun right now. Like, it's nearly impossible.
Here comes Concord's
5th and 6th.
5th and 6th, yeah. So they were missing their 4th man today.
And you can tell.
That's just too far back.
Yep. That's exactly what we had today.
Bill Belichick can say next man up, but you got to be the next man up.
Yeah.
You have to.
We had one guy that wasn't here that's out of our top 4. And my third guy had a really bad day. But our gap back to 4 and 5 was just... Got to do something about that.
Yeah.
You need 5. You don't need more than 5, but you got to have 5. Shit, that was Sheedy. Sheedy's crawling it in. Oh, my God. That guy is tough. He can't... He's not even going to make the... You got to go across the timing mat. Unbelievable.
Jesus, Sheedy.
I think we found the new guy that we can't... And now he crawls back out.
Oh, my God.
Tyler Sheedy is tough.
I tell you,
He said he was going to do something.
he wanted to finish, but he didn't want to be in anyone's way
Yeah,
either.
yeah, exactly.
I wonder what happened with him.
Well, I saw him. He basically
He must have just cramped up.
nosedived right there.
Huh.
Wow.
Huh.
Toughness.
He'd have been better off in the booth today.
This was a booth kind of day.
Yeah. I love that kid, though.
Yeah. Yep. So Dover did the ranking reveal this week.
Yeah. He did a great job.
Well, and I was talking to his coach, Nick, and Nick says he did it all. Like, he said that was 75 takes that he edited, that Tyler said, I'll edit, and it was ready to go the next day.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he had no cue cards or
No
anything.
cue cards or anything.
I thought that was good. I like that kid.
So what you guys think of the new rankings format this year?
I
like it.
I like it. I mean,
I like something different.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a couple of things. It's probably going to go faster this way.
I think you're going to see some big changes this week, but
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think you're going to see it go a little faster
yeah.
as well, which is both good and bad. And then the beauty is everybody's going to bring their unique aspect to it.
Yep.
And in many ways, that's probably how it should be.
No, I think it should be fun. We get to hear from different schools, more voices than what we normally would.
Yep.
Which can definitely be fun, and we're leaving it up to them to kind of submit. I think your team's lined up for
Yep.
at some point.
Yeah,
if any New Hampshire teams are interested in that, feel free to reach out to us because I know we don't have everything slotted out. So, but I hope it kind of continues bouncing around different teams like this. I
Yeah,
think
and it
it's
would be
fun.
great if it was a different team every week.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I'm willing to have our guys step up if it has to be that way, but I would much rather see, a variety of schools doing it across, all divisions too.
No, I agree with you. Ideally, we are seeing different teams every week. That's the hope, and hopefully some teams do want to do that. And again, it's kind of their thing. They get to, we'll give them the rankings, and they get to do with it whatever they want with it. That's the exciting part.
Greg, you mind me making a plug?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, this is dangerous. No, I didn't.
Go for it.
I can tell you one of the things that I worry about.
Got the mute button.
Yeah. There's no swearing, but one of the things I worry about with the website is, especially over the past year and a half, we've had to have people step up just to make sure we keep things going and everything. While we had a season like that, but I mean, I plead to coaches if they have something that they want to add to the website.
Oh, absolutely.
Please do so. I always get a little nervous that it gets a little Messinic heavy or Co-Brown heavy because a lot of the content comes from those two places. But we'd definitely love to hear other voices and other views on how their season's going. Anything really.
Yep. No, I know every once in a while we'll get like a video coming in of different races that we weren't at, and that's huge that we can help provide that to everyone. And I've seen course previews. I think there was, or workouts. Those have been good too. So any schools, it doesn't take much. One camera, 2 cameras, whatever. You can get a race with that. 1 camera, you can do some workout stuff.
If I can learn how to do it on Instagram, anybody can.
And I'm willing to bet there's at least one team on each kid who's interested in doing
one kid
some
on
editing.
each team.
One kid on each
You
team.
said one team on each kid.
One kid on each team. I don't know what you're talking about. Who's
You must have hit the mute
interested
button.
in doing some
Absolutely,
video
yeah.
editing?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's good experience, and with that, you're not necessarily doing it every week too. You do it once, and you get to celebrate your team. You get to showcase your team.
And I know I've talked to people that they've said, "Oh, I was thinking of doing something." Well, my thing is, don't think, just do it. Like we want it to be across the state. We want it to be we want it to be inclusive.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you look at what we do. For when we do it, it really is a bunch of volunteers. We're fortunate enough that we do have a lot of people who do keep coming back.
Yeah, it was great to see some of the people that have been on over the last couple of years and stuff like that. I haven't seen Davio, I don't think, yet this year, so to see him here today was good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen you yet this year, actually.
It's early.
You planned that on purpose,
yeah,
I bet.
Trying to avoid you.
Can't avoid me.
Yeah, it looks like as things are wrapping up here, once again, this is NewHampshireTrackandField.com.
Cross country.
Oh, my goodness, that's the second time this year.
Well, I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
They aren't
We've
really
been
much
off of
different.
Sheedy up here.
Maybe right now,
Right
even.
now. I don't even know if Sheedy can talk
He
right
probably
now.
doesn't know what his name is.
No.
So, what is it, Mike? You want to do the tag?
Tim's Truck Capital.
So we've got our Meat Hub sponsor for the Manchester Invite, Tim's Truck Capital. This has been your boys' large school varsity race. We saw
all the varsity races today. A lot of good competitions, a lot of good details and data from that. So, again, thank you to watching, everyone who's watching live, everyone who does end up tuning in and checking out some of this content. We appreciate it. Again, this is our first live meet of the season, so we're working on some hiccups, hoping that we can give you at least 1 or 2 more live meets this year. It does bring a little certain element, especially for those who can't make it. Once again, this is New Hampshire Cross Country.
There you go.
.com, and thank you for tuning in. We will see you. I believe we got some coverage next week at Thetford. We're going up there, doing some videoing up there.
Morty's Monster.
John Morton.